Ladies and gentlemen, SuckItUpUSA.com presents Suck It Up MMA Live. No excuses, no quit. With your hosts, positioned firmly in front of the control board, and out of the red corner, Tom McManus! Across the desk, and out of the blue corner, Larry the Professor Sheely!
We got a great guest for everybody today. He goes by the name Nakapan Phungephorn. He's out of the Beta Academy, the Martial Arts Academy, up in the D.C. areas. Their head instructor, a Muay Thai champion, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu badass, a guy that's been in the ring, has trained people, and has a great program up at Beta, which stands for Body Efficient Tactical Arts.
Yeah. He's got a lot of bases. Yeah. Tactical somewhere in there. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah, I think so.
When tactical is in the mix.
Well, let's welcome him in. Nakapan, welcome to Tom McManus Uncensored here on the first coast of Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, with Professor Larry Sheely. Tom McManus and Tony from Chicago. Good morning to you, and thanks for your time.
Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. What do you think about this discussion? Do you tap out in that situation, Nakapan, or you know, are you sitting there thinking, man, I can still get out, I can still get out? When do you know when to say when in some type of submission situation?
You know, it's a very fine line between being a warrior and being dumb about it. You know, so like Larry was saying, you definitely want to make sure that you have longevity in the career. It really depends. You know, I take it back to one match. If you watch Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu World Championships, it was a match against Roger Gracie and Ronaldo de Souza. You remember that match, Larry?
Jacare, yes.
Yeah, Jacare, man. Jacare got put in an arm lock, definitely broke his arm, pulled his arm out, and even though he had a broken arm, he was still able to win the match.
Wow.
So in that case, man, you know, you're like, hey, he did the right thing. He wanted to be champion. He wanted to be champion so bad he didn't care, whatever it took. But there's also a time where, hey, if you're a champion, they're going to try to take you down. So if you want to be champion again, you got to make sure that you're healthy and you're able to train.
Yeah, great point. I mean, you know, and it happens in a split second, doesn't it?
You just, you know, you think you got it. You think you're going to be out. You think you're going to be out. And in your mind, that's what you got to have to be a champion. You know, you can't be like, oh man, I got beat. I might as well just tap. Once you've already conceded in your mind, it's already over. So, you know, that warrior spirit is going to determine whether or not you're going to be able to get out.
That's a double-edged sword, that spirit, huh?
Yep, absolutely. I've been on both ends myself, so
yeah.
So sometimes it's hard for me to remember things that I've been hit so many times in the head. But that's kind of the price that you pay.
Up at your Beta Academy, Nakapan, you do Thai boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA. You have things for the kids, which is great, for the females as well. But talk about, you know, the fighters of today and how well-rounded they must be, you know, whether it's, you know, great in striking, great in grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. I mean, gosh, and it seems like these fighters of today are getting better and better in each one of those different arts and categories.
Absolutely. When I was coming up, you know, like I first started in Kung Fu, and then when I saw Royce Gracie on TV tapping everybody out with the secret of Jiu-Jitsu, I wanted to learn that so bad. So and after a while, I started getting into mixed martial arts myself, relying on grappling. But I saw, you know, at the time there was a huge people who were striking also had a huge advantage because we've just been saturated with this idea that grappling is the secret and end-all, be-all to everything. But now, as you see, we've had years and years of time for that sport to evolve, and now people have to be both good on the ground, good with the stand-up, good with the takedown aspect, taking people down, stuffing takedowns, and also the striking. So it's important to be well-rounded, and that's really given me a huge advantage when I was coming up because Muay Thai was definitely my area of expertise.
And what makes other than you got to be tough as nails, what makes a great Muay Thai fighter? What sets the good ones apart from the great ones?
You know, I think there's a lot of different parts to it. One is to stay healthy because, you know, the great thing about grappling is you can go 100%, balls to the wall, try to tap out your opponent, and you'll still be okay. You know, you can just slap hands, like, good one, you know, I tapped to that, let's keep going. But for striking, there's a little different story because your job is to try to knock the other person out. So there's going to be times where you got to make sure that your safety, you're able to continue to train because things happen. Just the other day, I was at a Muay Thai seminar. I was giving a seminar with Team Lloyd Irvin, my affiliation I train with, and one of the students during the sparring got knocked out cold, standing up. And this is just a training session for something else that we got going on, and things just happen. So when that occurs, you can't train for 30 days. There's issues about it. Getting concussed, man, it's like taking a brand new laptop and throwing that thing on the ground. Next time you use it, it's never going to be the same. It can't be good for you to get knocked out. So the important part is to really stay healthy while you're training, and that's a huge challenge when you're working striking. So the training methods are going to be very important for how the fighter's going to be able to develop and the success that they're going to have in the cage.
Yeah, they say concussions cause bruising to the brain, I think, somewhere in the medical books out there.
Yeah. Now, this is
a good thing.
This is a former NFL player talking. I think he might have some firsthand knowledge of that.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. But nothing like that, I would have to say.
No, man, you guys are pretty tough. I got a guy who's a former college football player, and he's like, man, he takes shots pretty well, and he was telling me about experience where, you got that team mentality. You get your clock clean. You can't be like, I'm going to sit out, coach. You keep going. So you guys are hardcore.
Well, I don't know if we're as hardcore as you guys. We like having a face mask in front of us, that's for sure. Talk about your competition team, Nakapan. I know you have a great one up there, Beta Academy's MMA competition team. Talk about that and what's on the docket for you guys.
Definitely. Now we've had the opportunity. My school's been open for a little over 3 years, so starting it from the ground up with fighters is a little difficult. But now that we've had a couple of years in, I got guys who have been in the grind for nearly 3 years, so they're doing their thing. For us, we have something called the Combat Athlete Program, where that's kind of our pool of fighters pool of people that we'll choose to try out. And now, since I have such a bigger pool, we have this rigorous tryout where they're there for 3-4 hours, duking it out with the current fight team members, and we take them on. So it's really like a hazing where we take on the cadets and then we see how they do in the competition team. Because at this point, if we're talking MMA and Muay Thai, like I said before, the goal, trying to knock the other guy out, and the fans want that too.
Right.
So there's a higher chance of getting hurt. There's a more sense of urgency when you're in there in front of your opponent. There's the reason why we have to be very selective about who we choose. And also at the same time, you're going to have different fighters with different goals. I say be very realistic. Because when I was coming up, I was training at least 6 hours a day for a fight, so you got to put in the time. And I think a lot of people now don't really know what it is to train for a fight. They say they want to be an MMA fighter, and it's like, okay, I'll put in 2 hours a week or 3 hours a week, and that's clearly not enough because you never want to be behind fighting somebody who has more preparation than you do. You're already behind the curve on that point. So, I really, when I choose the fighters, I want to make sure that I understand what their goals are and their goals are realistic. For example, I got a guy, he's already turned 30. He's like, hey, I want to have my first amateur MMA fight before I'm 32. So great, no problem. Here's the guys you're going to train with. Here's your training regimen, and I know that we can reach this goal. And guys who, I got another young kid. His name is Andy. He just won this thing called the WKA. It's like a big tournament-style MMA fight. So he had 3 fights in one day. 19 years old. He fought up a weight class, destroyed everybody. He wants to get on the UFC. So I said, all right, if this is your goal, and at the same time he's going to college and everything. So you got to make sure you prioritize your time right. But in any case, we got a wide range of skill levels at our school. People who are, like I said, just trying to get that one fight. Other guys who are trying to get on the big screen. So we just got to train hard and just keep grinding.
No doubt.
Hey, Nakapan, this is Larry. How are guys like Andy adapting once you show them their training regimen? Some of them jump into it, I would think, and just go after it balls to the wall. But others, they may get in, and say, this may not be for me. What percentage of the guys who make that commitment stick with it with you?
Like I said, we're pretty young in terms of creating people from scratch.
Right.
Like I said, I have a better retention rate because I make sure that I understand what their goals are. So my rate may be a little bit better than, the average school who's just, old school. You know how old school, you just trial by fire. Get in there, and if you don't like it, you leave, right?
I'm old too, right? Is that what you said, old school?
I love the
Come
old
on,
school,
Nakapan.
man. I love it.
Be nice to the old guy.
Well, I say old school, I mean 10, 15 years ago.
Hey, Nakapan, you look at, we often talk on my sports show about other sports as far as, what is the hardest, to make it to the elite? Is it NFL? Is it NBA? Is it golf? We were talking about them earlier today. Talk about, in getting to the elite in MMA, how many guys are really good, but to get to that next level, to where you're getting the contract offers, to where you're on the big screen and you're getting those title fights. Talk about getting to that level and the commitment it takes.
I think I was listening to Master Marcos, who's a very, very, very close colleague, and he was talking about this book, Outliers, and I definitely recommend that book and share the same opinion. And it's getting that 10,000 hours. Just to be proficient at anything, you got to put in the time.
Yeah.
Really, talent plays a role in the beginning, but in the end, it's really the hard work that's going to pay off. So it's going to be the guys that are willing to put in the time, make the sacrifices, really understand that it requires a sacrifice to get in that's going to be able to make it. And I think a lot of people, especially sometimes I talk to my students, I'm telling them, listen, you got to put in more time. This is not enough. And they feel like they're putting enough time, but they got full-time jobs, they got families, they got other obligations, and it's just difficult to balance some things. And sometimes you just got to be blunt with them. Like, I don't want you to get hurt. You need to put in the time, and that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, no question about it. Nakapan here with us from Beta Academy Mixed Martial Arts, and that is up in the Washington, D.C. area. You can check them out online, betaacademy.com. Before we wrap up with you, Nakapan, who are some of the top fighters that you look forward to watching, whether it's UFC, WC, Bellator, what have you? What are some of the fighters that you like of today?
Well, I'm biased. I love everybody in my camp. I got Phil Davis, Brendan Vera. Brendan Vera.
Oh, yeah.
Way back in the day. So, Dominic Cruz, Mike Easton, I got to give all those guys a shout-out, man. They're doing some great things. But I heard you guys talking earlier. I'm very excited about this upcoming fight with Rashad Evans and Bones Jones, man. It has an unbelievable reach. It's going to be a great dynamic, and I just can't wait to see it happen.
Who do you think comes out on top, in your opinion?
This is a close one. I think if Bones Jones can be as dynamic and unpredictable as he usually is, uses his reach, and just is able to just outwork Rashad, which is going to be difficult now because his conditioning is so much better than it was before. And you could just definitely see the evolution of his style, of where now he's very well balanced in pretty much all aspects of MMA. It's going to be close. It's going to be a barn burner. But I definitely think that Bones Jones at the end can definitely pull it out with some sharp elbows.
Yeah.
All right.
You going to be there, Nakapan?
Yeah.
You going to head down to Atlanta?
I'm not going to be there, but I definitely will check it out from the comfort of my own couch.
All right. There you go. All right. Check out Nakapan up at betaacademy.com in Washington, D.C. A pleasure to have you on Tom McManus Uncensored, Nakapan, and hopefully we can do it again in the future.
Definitely. We'd love to do it. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Tom. It was a pleasure talking to you this morning.
All right.
Thank you, Nakapan.
Good stuff. Yeah, that was
good seeing
pretty
you, buddy.
awesome. I'll tell you what, man. Look, if you're going to think you're going to compete in MMA or anything, you got to be all in.
Mm-hmm.
There's no half in, half out, because that's the kind of results you're going to get.
Right.
Now, if you want to go just to be in shape, then you work it around your schedule.
Of course.
You work it around your
which a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not.
Not everyone's going to compete, but if you think you're going to just show up, you're going to get worked.
No question.
You're going to get worked. I don't care how
question.
tough you think you are, how advanced you think you are. You'll get your butt handed to you.
No question. You talk about too. You never know who knows what anymore.
Right.
A guy like Nakapan, you look at him, look like a guy could step out of a magazine.
Yeah.
Maybe be a soccer or golfer the way you guys were talking.
Hey, you know
this
what?
morning.
Those soccer
and
golfers take MMA. Watch out.
Absolutely. Yeah. They need to learn how to defend a golf club when the wife tries to hit them.
It was late at night.
Yeah,
Give him a
you
break.
couldn't see real well.
His hand-eye coordination was off. She didn't mean to whap him in the face with it.
Yeah, that.
Right in the mouth. Thanks for the 7-iron, honey. No, I smashed it against the steering wheel. Yeah, sure you did. I'm sure. And she tried to pull you out.
And it knocked out the back window. That's a whole nother story. But no, what I was saying is you just never know. These guys, we talk to them all the time. I always say what great guys they are. Literally, some of the best people in the world I've met are fighters.
Yeah.
And they're not walking around. They're not the bullies. They're just regular Joes.
Right.
But then once you see them train, you're like, oh, my gosh.
But they make no excuses, and they never quit.
Absolutely
and that's
not.
right up the alley of suck it up. Great stuff. Thanks, Larry.
Yeah.
We'll see you at 1 o'clock.
I'll be here.
MMA Live, 1 to 2 o'clock right here on the Suck It Up Radio Network on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Tom McManus and Professor Larry Shealy. Tony and I will wrap up here on Sports Radio 930.
Suck It Up MMA on Facebook.
Yes,
Suck It Up
very
MMA
much.
on
Check
Facebook,
us out.
folks.
Please
So
like us.
check us in there, all right? Thanks.
All right, we'll be back on Atlantic Coast Medical Care and Pain Management Thursday on Sports Radio 930. We are Jacksonville's Sports League.
This has been a production of SuckItUpUSA.com and EIGProductions.com. Heard exclusively on the Suck It Up Radio Network.